All right, welcome back. We have another knife. I think this one's the second to last of a series of Demkos that I bought. What's kind of special about this one is it's from a pretty, and I'm going to kind of remove some of this off screen here so I don't potentially expose some personal info, but I got it from a pretty prolific Demko like collector. I guess I'll spare saying the names. I try not to say people's names on the channel without getting their permissions ahead of time, so I'll just not say the name. But if you're in the Facebook group, you probably know who this person is. And by the way, if you're curious who this is the AD20.5 Demko, just the Greiver with the AS10A, but people always ask, like, what are you using for the unboxing? But I got this particular one from a pretty well-known collector and kind of the guru on Demko knives outside of the creators themselves. And I've been wanting to buy one from him. He may even listen to this at some point, so thank you for making this one work out, if so. But it's part of a series of Demkos that I bought, and I realized I'm kind of on a roll. Oh, at that edge. I'm kind of on a roll for getting these particular variants of the AD20 that do not have a slot in it. And as you can see, this is a very early box here. A Knife Joy variant, apparently. ADM G20 ODG, OD green. So it says MG AD20 machine ground 20 OD green is what that all equates to. And yeah, I saw this variant, and first of all, there's just a group of people that love OD green. I'm like kind of in that group, but kind of not. I go back and forth a little bit, and then I wanted one of the early 20 CV variants. I don't have a hand ground 20 CV written on there like that, so I thought that was really cool. And then I thought a little bit about OD green and then also not having the slot, and that combo is kind of cool here. This thing looks pretty much like new. I don't see any signs of care or anything, as promised. And yeah, there's just something cool about this. Full thickness AD20 is already a cool knife, but you add in OD green, which again is not for everyone, but for the people that love it, they freaking love it. Like, I think for some reason or another, it's the group that is the most diehard. The OD green lovers love OD green. So you can always try and find that person that loves that knife, and you'll probably be able to sell your knife if you have one. And I have the AD20.5 and the OD green DLT limited edition. This thing is perfect lockup. I'm going to just guess ahead of time perfect centering, because pretty much everyone I have has had perfect centering, and this one is not the exception. And although I prefer the slot, like from a user perspective, there's something just kind of cool about this. And now I have like this really neat collection building up of no slot, full-size AD20s. And this is the one that started it, and this is a original 3V variant. So you see that it's hand etched in there. 3V is one of Andrew Demko's favorite blade steels. Made a ton of them, obviously, including the AD20.5 premium models are all 3V. You can see like 3V tends to also get a little patina on it versus like a 20 CV. These are probably similar age here. It's a really neat one that I have here. Of course, on the full size, I think they're all pretty much full weight tie scales. So if you know the Demko AD20S, there are milled out lightweight ones, which are actually great for users for like carry, but I think for collectors, it's cool having the full tie. And then, I don't know, I actually need to talk to the guy I got this from and ask him if he knows about this, but this was sold, I think it was in 2021 at the North Carolina custom knife show at NCKS. And this is a carbon fiber one that has a swedge on the front, even though it's machine ground, which is super random and weird and not something that I'd seen anywhere else. And this one just came in also. So now I've kind of got this really cool trio here of titanium, G10, and carbon fiber no slot. And then if you're familiar with the AD20S variants, some of the lower end ones that are in D2 blade steel have AD20S variants. This first one is a G10 variant and a no slot. So let me back up the camera here a little bit, and before I start mixing and matching all my boxes, I gotta keep them all organized here. Give ourselves a little more room. So I got kind of do it like this. The OD green G10, full size, the clip point AD20S, which is only available in D2. Is that correct? Let me think about that for a sec. I'm pretty sure that's correct, that the AD20S only was available in a clip point in D2. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So you got a 20 CV OD green, a 3V titanium, a crew wear carbon fiber. So you got the 3 blade steels and the 3 handle materials. Now there is Grivery also, and I got a feeling that there is a variant, no slot, Grivery, 80 full size AD20. I got to track that down though. I don't have one. And I got a feeling that there's a clip point Grivery also. And I got to track down one of those. So I can get those two. But this is an AD20 I did just get in this week. That one has a slot though. Then I feel like this starts to become like a really kind of niche-y, neat set of collectible Demkos that don't really, you don't see a lot of. I'll just put it that way, I guess. And as a collector, finding things that are rare is particularly interesting. Now these are all made in the USA. If you've been following the channel, I try and do a little mix of just my personal take on what's available out there, and sometimes I do a little bit of an educational thing. This particular one on the box shows made in USA with both foreign and domestic parts, because I think the shark lock and some of the bolts and stuff are done overseas. But that's an OD green also in Grivery. And yeah, that's a pretty neat variant as well. So let's see here. Let me see what I can fit on the screen real quickly. I think we can do it like this, which would be cool. And maybe if I can sneak that in. I'm noticing there's a little color difference in the G10 OD green. It's a little like grayer, and this has got a little bit of a dark green into it. I don't know if they use the same dye and the materials just take it differently, or what the deal is there, but there is a difference in color between the G10, which I think I prefer a little more. It's a little more subtle. This is a little more green, but both cool. I'm probably gonna appeal to different, folks. Different strokes for different folks, as they say. So that's the full, call it the full Monty of no slot. Oh, you know what? I got one over here in G10, D2 also. So let's maybe throw the shark's foot variants on the sides here. And we'll zoom back in a little bit. Can't go too far apparently. Throw these G10 variants on the sides. We'll just go like this. But there's a lot of cool no slot options. I've had a couple more, some which I sold already. I think this is really cool though. This trio of 3 right here, being what they are, I think is a really neat little combo. So, okay, so what's the deal? AD20 full size, you get the full blade stock thickness, right? Versus the, the AD20S is the slim. They're still the same size, so like if you're not familiar with this, the handles are the same size. You can actually interchange you can generally interchange the scales and the hardware and everything. It tends to go back and forth. Now the shark locks are different sizes and stuff, so you can't swap those out. So I was curious on this one. Yeah, this one's a no label one. A lot of space in there actually on that one. Interesting. A little dirty looking too. But this is obviously hard to come by stuff. You can rarely find these on drops from companies like Knife Joy, DLT, Knife Center just did the most recent one. You generally have to pick them up at knife shows or, be really on Johnny on the spot on the drop, so you're going to miss them. The full size are hard to come by. But as you can see, this no slot addiction I have is starting to turn into a cool little sort of sub collection within my collection of Demkos, and has me pretty excited about continuing to search out no slot variants. There's so much to know about the Demkos, and if you haven't seen my video, I did a pretty comprehensive video. It's like an hour long, unfortunately, but you can skip around if you need to, on things to know about the Demkos, particularly outside of the AD20.5. I did spend time on the AD20.5 too, which is the small sort of EDC targeted version made in Taiwan. Picked these up for 150 bucks, 125 bucks on sale, or ranging up to 375. They've been on sale lately for 315 with a full titanium scale there. I was out at this art gallery tonight, and this was the one that I brought with me. That was my artsy version, and the guy that was doing it was a David Sire, who's a local artist here in Bellingham, Washington. He wore like a blue and black, almost Timascus looking jacket, so that was kind of fun that the artist sort of was decked out in Timascus. And you check out David Sire, S-Y-R-E, his work, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that looks kind of similar to Timascus, which is cool. We did end up picking up one of the pieces, which is new for us. My wife and I haven't bought a lot of art in the past. Mostly spent my money on this kind of stuff and other things like it. So I'm branching out, learning a new area to collect and hobby on. But, I think of the Demkos as being, artists in a way too. There's so much variation in the things that they've done. I think of a lot of the custom versions. I'll pull them out right now just for fun. And some of the creativity that they've shown, amongst in the knife world, doing things like carving in, doing color variations and different pocket clip colors, and the peanut versus the peanut and the nice, grind lines versus the thumb stud. They're doing some pretty creative stuff, and there's really an art to what I think Demko does, so it's something I appreciate. The no slots are interesting. Like, I definitely don't like them cosmetically as much. I'll be the first to say I don't like them as much as the regular slotted version. I actually think that's a better looking knife. I'll pull out a direct comparison to this titanium one here and just kind of show you why, or maybe you can assess for yourself what you think. But you can see those are basically the two same versions. This one is, I think, a 20 CV, although it's not marked, which makes it kind of unique as well. But just comparing those two, there's some balance to this, I think, or some cosmetic appeal to me in the way that this looks. It functions and everything. I actually really like that it gives you a little depth that your finger can drop into when you spidey flick it. It just makes it like really easy to get a nice purchase in there. And same thing for the thumb flick, you just get a little more purchase as you come out of there, and just nice. And yeah, there's something just kind of cosmetically appealing about the way that this looks. I couldn't quite tell you what it is, but I like it, and I think a lot of people like it. But that's also kind of cool, right? Because it makes these a little quirkier and a little more rugged looking and a little more Rambo, I think, you know, in their essence. So yeah, excited to get this one in the collection. I'll just thank the seller for making this happen, because it was one that I kind of didn't know I wanted, and then it just popped up and I'm like, shit, I gotta have it. But yeah, it's a neat thing that they're doing on these Demkos, and for lack of, you know, maybe better description, I think I even tried to thin out my collection, and I just keep collecting them. So hard to explain sometimes why we do what we do and what our interests are. Like, can you control your interests? I'm not so sure if that's really possible, because if I could, I'd probably make my obsession with knives that I have right now, I'd probably switch that into an obsession with coding or something like that, and then I could you know, make a lot of money with my time instead of just having fun with this stuff. But I do have fun with it, and there's something to be said for that. And this is one of those things that, you know, as you get into collecting, your curiosity and your education of yourself and how you engage and learn, it kind of, I'm trying to think of the right word. You know, the saying, the more you know, the more you learn, the less you know. There's really something to that. And as you get into things, certainly you can become like the greatest expert and realize like that you really are, you have no idea. There's so much more to know about so many things, whether it's, again, going into computers and computer science, into, you know, more of a physics kind of science, and the full gamut. There's just a lot to know in the world, and there's something about collecting that really encourages that, which is fun and productive in its own way. It can certainly be a time suck, but you know, if you're having fun with it, that's a big part of what hobbies are all about. So you know, I think that's a big theme of this one, more so than the knife itself, is the pursuit of it and the finding of it, and just the fact that it exists, and sharing that with you all, along with my enthusiasm, because it's a neat one to track down here. So you know, for you, that might mean you might see it and go, hey, that's an amazing knife, I want to go find one so I can carry it and use it every day. For some of you, you might just go, not quite sure why this guy has 30 plus versions of the same knife, and those are all fair assessments of the situation, and they're not going to really change whether or not I enjoy doing it. So hope you enjoyed the video and my thoughts on it. It's pretty neat to find another one of these guys, and excited to share that with you. So please like, subscribe, comment if you have thoughts on what you just saw and heard, and regardless, I will see you on the next one. Thanks and take care.